And welcome. I'm Julie Selby, and this is the Wonderful Women Business Networking Show. My co-host is
Deb Alcadinho with Business for Social Good.
And this is the show where we shine the light on wonderful women business owners, their passions, projects, services, etc., events, their new books, and we just love to help get the word out and help increase the visibility of these wonderful women. Deb and I both know a lot of great ladies, so we're happy to help bring them to you. And with that, I'm going to invite Deb to do the land acknowledgement and introduce her business.
Hello, everyone. So yes, you know that I'm Deb Alcadinho with Business for Social Good, and we are joining you from the lands of the Wasanic, Coast Salish, Lekwungen, and Songhees peoples, otherwise known as Victoria, BC. As far as Business for Social Good goes, I teach women entrepreneurs to define purpose, create impact, and change the world.
Ooh, I
And
like that.
if any of our viewers and listeners know of B Corp certification, you can kind of think of us like a pre-B Corp to give you the blueprint to operate as a conscious business and make positive change in your community or around the world.
So important. So much more than just a trend.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I was getting ready to speak to the Royal Roads BCom in entrepreneurial management. I'm speaking to them tomorrow, on the weekend. And I was kind of going back through my timeline, and it's fascinating. I mean, this movement has been around since 06, 07. So it's not new. But it's just kind of been bubbling below the surface for so long.
Yeah.
And just to bring it, rise to the surface. There's this seismic shift that's happening in the world, and people are really
so true.
So
And
yes,
change needs to happen.
big change does need to happen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For as our first guest is going to tell us about for planet and people, and not
Yes,
just profit, right? As you would
exactly,
say as well. Yeah.
exactly. So
And
please, I want to turn the mic over to you and tell us about you and your business, please.
yes, indeed. I'll keep it brief today. We've got some wonderful guests. I teach, my company is Sandy Social Marketing Training. I teach social media marketing skills to small business owners. I especially love working with helpers, healers, and creatives who help make the world a better and more beautiful place. I have actually a workshop coming up this weekend that I do have a couple of spots for. It's a workshop on Facebook and Instagram Reels. And if you've been paying attention to social media, you know that TikTok is a big player on the scene. And as Gary Vaynerchuk would call it, the TikTokification of social media channels, because they all copied TikTok and they all have a short vertical video format. So we're going to learn about how to create TikTok style videos that you can use anywhere on your social media channels, including YouTube or LinkedIn, though the workshop is specifically geared to using the format called Reels, which is on both Facebook pages as well as Instagram business accounts. So I'll
Ooh,
be
it's
putting
going to
the
be good.
Oh, thank you, Deb. And Deb, God bless you. Deb has been to like pretty much every course and training workshop that I offer. So,
Learn
so
from
that'll be
us.
this weekend, and I'll put the link to that in the caption for this video.
Awesome.
And with that, I would love to turn it over to Deb, because you have scheduled a wonderful. I want to have you invite or welcome our first guest to the stage,
Yes.
Deb.
Yes, thank you. We have two dynamite ladies joining us today, and I'm super excited to have our first guest, Erin, join us from her quote, outdoor studio. You'll get it when she comes on. There she is.
We're multitasking women.
So welcome, Erin. So great to have you with
Welcome.
us.
Wonderful
Thanks.
to meet you.
It's so funny to be speaking with you now. I was writing about you earlier today. I was writing an article for Douglas Magazine about B Corps. And so it's been a very B Corpian day. So I'm happy to step from the rooftops about the power of B Corps.
Right on.
Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. So please share with us who you are, what you do, and what you bring to the world.
Hi, I'm Erin Skillen. I'm in Victoria, BC, and share in the lovely land acknowledgement that Deb provided. I am a writer and a consultant focusing on creating social impact, creating better businesses, and working on diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And within that, looking at the intersections between mental health and DEIB and how we can leverage our behavioral psychology to be better at creating meaning in the DEIB space.
Wow, so powerful. So let's break that down because there's a
Yeah,
lot in that.
a lot.
First of all, the name of your business is?
Yes, that's important. Content for Good. So I'm at content4good.com. And so I do writing. I do a lot of also ghostwriting, secret writing for thought leadership, which is really fun to do. Yeah, getting to dive into someone else's voice is fantastic. I write a lot of articles for different publications, but also for individual companies. So case studies, testimonials, all of that type of work. Anything, especially where you get to interview someone and ask them questions and learn from them and then share that learning. That's my sweet spot. I love digging into people's minds and bringing out all that amazing knowledge to share with others.
Amazing.
So important for businesses because they often don't have that writing skill in-house, and they need content for their website, for their social media channels, etc. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the way that I used to do documentary television production before everything became reality TV, and I quietly
Cool.
exited the industry. And so that ability to have a conversation and ask questions of people and really get to the core quickly of what they're trying to say, and then be able to convey that message and build upon that message with other sources is really powerful in helping tell a story rather than just some of the more clickbaity type stuff that you see out in the on the wild west of the net.
And that's a real skill, Erin, to be able to, clearly, probably, I would say, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I would say probably one of your values is curiosity.
100%. I'm
Yeah.
very curious. Can't stop myself. My boyfriend actually now drives quickly past Bowl and Books. He's like, "You're not getting any more."
Right.
But knowledge is there. It's such a just the online courses. I've been digging into social psychology and curious about that. I don't have a psychology degree, but hey, we can do that. We can go online and find courses and do all of these amazing things and broaden our understanding, and then bring that to the work that we do in consulting with clients and having that sort of global perspective right here from Victoria.
Yeah, exactly. So you like to work with social impact individuals and brands. But what does that look like? Tell us a little bit about what the client looks like, so anybody listening can kind of self-identify.
Absolutely. So I love working with companies that are already on that social impact journey, but I also love working with companies that are looking to dig into diversity, equity, and inclusion, and may have struggled in the past or may be sort of daunted about moving forward. Companies that don't want to just check a box and say, okay, we did diversity, because that's not how it works. But companies that really, one of the things that I'm doing now are DEI audits. So, or assessments to come in and sort of take a look, where are we starting at? So I've done that for companies who didn't previously have a strategy in place. They just knew this was sort of a step they wanted to take, and they were nervous, and it's a little bit scary. But
do you just chat with their employees, or how do you go about doing that?
So we do it a few ways, because different people will admit different things at different times in different ways.
Yeah.
So I try to give people multiple opportunities to engage, because the first time you ask them, especially when you're dealing with the BIPOC community who have been potentially harmed in the past in this work, they might be a bit more reticent. So I like to provide people an opportunity to respond in writing through surveys. I offered information interviews. I went to every single location for this hotel chain and met with as many employees and leaders as possible, had conversations, brought that information back to the leadership. And then I did my own sort of quiet observation without anyone knowing. I'm sitting and watching them, just sort of observing, noticing things. Like there was a sign at the hotel that said, "Too tired for the stairs? Our elevator's around the corner." And it's like, well, no, maybe they're not too tired. Maybe they just have a mobility challenge, right? So they went, uh-oh, that was just meant to be funny. We didn't mean it that way. And they've changed it. So just little things that a fresh set of eyes outside of the organization can provide. So you have that extra layer of trust that this isn't someone, your immediate supervisor. This is somebody external to the organization trying to do the best for everyone involved.
Trying to help make things better and not just here to critique us.
Exactly, because there's no benefit in that. Making people feel bad about themselves, making them feel guilty, making them feel like it's all too much to handle. None of that achieves any of our objectives together. So I set that aside. We want to be collaborative, we want to be empathic, and we want to learn. And more importantly, we need to unlearn a whole bunch of stuff along the way.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would you do workshops then for the team to help them better understand, or how does that get executed then once you've given some recommendations to the management?
Absolutely. So what I've done is done that analysis to get an understanding of, okay, this is where the organization is at, or these are different parts of the organization. These are where the needs are. And then sort of amend the learning or create custom learning depending on what's needed to then address those issues. So if it's a more, an organization that's further along that path, I'm not going to come in and explain what oppression is and what power is. I'm not going to start with that with them. But if they're brand new and this is their first step, they need to understand that stuff. They need to have those conversations. So really tailoring the learning to the point that the organization is at and be able to carry as many people along as possible.
Meet them where they are on that journey.
Where they are.
Exactly, rather than making assumptions or pandering to them. You know, it's a fine task, and you can offer different levels of education for different people in the organization, sort of the 101 version and then the sort of advanced level version. So I think the more nuanced it is, the better chance it has of becoming lasting change. Because I think we've all sat through some of those box checking programming, and it's no one's benefit. Exactly. Like no one's benefiting from that at all. It's just putting people off of DEI. And we don't want that.
Yes, exactly. So we're talking with Erin Skillen from Content for Good, located here in Victoria, BC. Any final thoughts you want to share with us before we bid you farewell?
I just love that you're doing this. This is fantastic. Thank you for creating this opportunity. And just for everyone who's viewing this, I love amazing women coming together. If anyone wants to reach out, even just to have a conversation, nothing to do with hiring me or anything. I just love meeting extraordinary people. That's how I met Deb, and now I get to meet Julie. And it's just like it's just one of those lovely snowballs that gets bigger and bigger in the best way.
I checked out a few of your videos as I was, of course, we'll be sharing your links and your information in the caption. So if anyone would like to get in touch with you, we'll make sure they've got that info available. But as I was kind of checking out your website and some of your videos, I just thought, she is so much fun.
Yeah.
I bet you bring fun to everything you do as well.
If you can make it fun, why not make it fun? Because wouldn't we all rather have more fun? Like, yeah, there's challenging stuff in all of this. There are dark moments, but we need to balance that out with a bit of levity and a bit of joy, because that is the fuel that keeps us going.
And just to wrap up that thought, Erin also does events. So P.S. If you have any events, if you need to have a special host for a special event who can bring the fun, consider Erin.
I love doing that. And I'm looking for pro bono opportunities as well, just because, again, I love meeting humans and learning new things and new people. So yeah, hit me up if you need someone with a big mouth who can fun along the way.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Erin. It was a pleasure getting to learn more about you and your business.
Take good care. I'm off to pick up my daughter from tutoring now.
Wonderful.
It's the life. It's a glamorous life.
Thanks for joining us on the run today.
Thanks, Erin.
Bye. Bye.
And with that, we're going to bring on our next amazing guest. Would you like to make the introduction, Deb?
I would love to. Thank you. So Amina, we have Amina Mohamed here with us from Cameras for Girls.
One of our favorites, returning guest.
We're so thrilled to have you with us, Amina, today. And as we said backstage before we came on live, some of our viewers and listeners might not know this amazing human, this incredible woman before us. So they might not know your story that you shared with us the first time, which was several months ago now. So even if they did, they've probably long forgotten. So I would love you to start at the beginning, please, and share with us who you are, what you do, and a bit of your origin story and how you arrived here and now, please.
Fantastic. First of all, thank you so much for having me on again. I really love you guys and
We
what
love
you're
you.
doing. So I'm so thrilled. So to your viewers, my name is Amina Mohamed, and I am the founder and executive director of a Canadian registered charity called Cameras for Girls. And my backstory is we came to Canada as refugees 50 years ago last year. So I'm dating myself, but anyways. And we came from Uganda, and I grew up listening to amazing stories about what life was like back in Uganda. And I always, if people asked me as a kid, where are you from? I was born in England, but I would say, I'm Ugandan. And my mom would say, yeah, whatever. So, because they were trying to say, no, we are living in Canada now. This is our home. So I always felt tethered between two countries.
Wow.
And going back to Uganda didn't happen for me until 2007. So I was in my 20s. I was working in film and television as a producer in documentary, and I got a fellowship. And I was like, I'm going back, first of all, to tell the story of Indians who were forced to leave and them coming back to reclaim their properties. And I'm going home, like home,
Wow.
to
So that
really
was your first
discover
time
my
back
roots.
since you were
That
a
was my
child.
first time.
Wow.
Yeah. So I expected to see, because you grow up in the developed world and you don't think about what you're going to see, right? You think it's all the same. We're all the same around the world. And so I was expecting to see the country that we left, which when we left Kampala, which is the capital city, had maximum 100,000 people. And here I was, and it was about, it's the size of Toronto, and I'd say 3 times the size of people in 2007, with no electricity, hardly any, like it was just crazy. But fast forward now, every time I go, it just exponentially grows. So there's like 35 million people in the capital.
Wow.
Yeah, it is nuts.
Wow.
But it's home. And so I, aside from the poverty, which you expect to see, I didn't realize the plight of women and girls. Here I had grown up in Canada with all the opportunities that you want. I did grow up in a very strict household because I'm Muslim, and I'm grateful for that years later because it really set me on a proper path. But I was also a rebel at heart, and so I pushed the boundaries as much as I can. And that artistic side of me kept on pushing back, right? So that's where it kind of was there. And in the back of my mind, I was like, I got to do something for these women, because I was meeting girls as young as 14, 15, who had been married off just after hitting puberty. They can't get education because they're born a girl. Like, it's not a privilege like we have. It's a right. It's a privilege to have education.
So you're
not a
saying
right.
even today,
Yeah.
the education of the males is prioritized.
Oh, yeah. So if a family has daughters and sons and they have limited funds because everything is paid for, including the school fees, the uniform, the books, they'll choose to educate their sons over their daughters unless their mother has been to school. Then she'll fight for them to go to school, right? So that cycle keeps on continuing. And these girls are now either married off, having children that they're not educating, and so that the cycle repeats, or they're working in the home to take care of the home and the smaller children, and they're not given a voice. They're not given autonomy. They're not given those rights, right? And it made me angry. I can't tell you how angry I was, but I was powerless. I was like in my 20s, had no idea what to do. And then I left film and television. I went into a completely different avenue of mortgage brokering. Did that for 5 years, won a couple of awards, was making great money, but I was not happy. And growing up, my parents always instilled in me a sense of giving back. We had nothing. We were refugees, but they always said that we might not have anything, but we're still better off than the next guy. So always remember to give back. And I did that throughout my whole life. So 2017 of August, I am miserable in my job, and I go to write my licensing test, like to relicense for another year. And I was sitting at the thing and I was like, I can't do this. And I put my pen out and I walked out. And I think it was a week or 2 weeks later, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I said to my husband, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back and teach photography to girls in Uganda. And he looked at me, it was 3 o'clock in the morning or so, and he's like, you're crazy. And he went back to sleep. And a year later, I was in Uganda.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. So it's
Awesome story.
2018 was our first workshop, 2019 our second. We hit COVID, and then 2022 I returned for my third, and now I'm heading back in June for our fourth. So
Amazing.
47
Amazing.
girls so far, and 32 or 65% now have full-time jobs in either journalism, they've started their own photography businesses, or they're working in communications and media, and they're empowered. They're using voice, right? They can speak
So
up
let me just
now.
get this straight. So 32 of the girls that you've trained so far with your organization, your
Yep.
photography training, they are now employed and
Yes.
empowered.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
And
incredible.
we really want that number to go higher.
Of course, and it
But
will.
you face a lot of issues. Like, we are rebounding very fast and quickly from COVID,
They're not.
but no. So
But you're one person and you've
I'm one
impacted
person.
32 lives already.
Yeah,
Like,
47.
that's
Yeah,
pardon
even
me,
if they don't
47.
have jobs, right? But it's and I
Phenomenal.
can't do this. I have to say, I can't do this job without my team in the ground. So I've got a team of amazing volunteers who help, teach the editing, help teach digital marketing skills, help the girls when there's technical issues with their cameras, do their headshots for their LinkedIn profiles. And then I've got volunteers here that are helping me. And I'm surrounded by amazing people who keep pushing me forward, because it's not easy. And some days we lack funding. And so I'm always like, should I quit? Should I go and get a job? And then I talked to one of the girls in Uganda, and I realized, no, I can't. I got to keep on going, because it's not about me. It's about them. It's about uplifting and making a difference, right? Even if it's a small scale right now, I'm building a scaling program where we want to build sustainability, so the girls also become trainers and then train girls as well.
Well, and
Amazing.
there's so much in that, but I wanted to just touch on something Julie said, and that was 47 young women have been impacted, but
Yep.
it's not 47. It's exponentially rippled
Yep.
and rippled and rippled and rippled. So these
It's
47
their families,
That's it.
even their friends that might
Yeah.
see them and
Yeah.
give a hope to others in their
Yes.
communities, right?
Exactly.
Like all of that.
And
Good
as
point,
they're
Deb.
earning revenue now, just by the nature of your culture, some of that money goes back to the family. They're helping the family. Like,
That's
it's
it, exactly. And it's exponential, like you say. And so I have to mention that we also taught 10 girls in South Africa over COVID, and 3 of them have jobs in photography now. And then I've got, when I couldn't get back to Uganda, I was like, oh my God, I can't let all this go. I sat down and built a library, a video library that they can access 24/7. And so they can't get on data sometimes, they can't get on my live teachings every week. And then it's opened up that platform to 85 girls and growing across Africa who just need a phone or their own camera, and they can now come and learn, take advantage of how to build a LinkedIn profile or get mentoring, which is, so it keeps on spreading. Yeah.
So it becomes more scalable now that
That's
you
it.
were forced to create some online video content that they can access, and also
Excellent.
probably for the internet access issues for them to be able to access when they're able at hours
That's
that
it.
don't work for us in Canada, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I wanted, just for clarification for our audience. So you talked about being a mortgage broker, and then there's this gap of, okay, so now I'm teaching photography, but throughout your life, you became a professional photographer.
Yeah. So I'm a photographer, a storyteller. I used to do documentary. I used to produce movies, short films. I was very good at negotiating budgets, doing something for nothing, when you're in the independent space. And so I put a lot of those skills now to use in this, because we don't flow in money like many organizations. So I have to really.
You'll get there.
We will. We will. But I'm very creative of how we legally creative. Let's just put that out there.
Legally
of how we
creative.
stretch a dollar, right?
Yes.
And how we can make take advantage of free resources or volunteers or people who can support us, or collaborations are huge.
So I just want sorry, Julie, I just want our listeners to hear what is in what Amina has said. You took your skills and your abilities and training throughout know, your adult life, and you returned to a country that was so meaningful for you.
Mhm.
And you defined, here is an issue with these young women.
Mhm.
And
Gender equity,
yes, exactly.
a UN Sustainable Development Goal.
There you
To tie
go.
it back into Deb's training.
Which
Yep,
number?
we,
Which
we
number?
cover 4. We cover 4. Yes, number 5, gender equity. Number
So you
5.
you cover 4 UN
UN
Sustainable
Sustainable
Development
Goals.
Goals.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Sorry,
amazing.
Deb, go on.
So, so last retreat. So you defined. So you went back to your homeland. You defined a plight of these young women, and you said to yourself, "I can take my skills in journalism, photography, movie, storytelling, production, and I can help these young women gain skills, gain life skills, gain education skills that will spin off and benefit their lives, their families, and their futures."
Yep.
And
Yep.
I just wanted to actually verbalize and say that, because we get caught up in our own story, right? And sometimes we miss some of those little threads. So I just wanted to draw that thread for our listeners.
Very
And
helpful, Deb. Thank you.
yeah, and the fact that the impact that you're having, this is not to be taken lightly. And I think for you, being the face and at the helm of
Being
the
the high achiever that
organization,
she is.
right? You're like, oh man, I just wish our impact was greater.
Yeah.
But your impact is great. So please own that
Like, so
today.
impressive. Really,
Yeah.
truly.
Yeah,
Thank you.
please hear
Be
that and
proud.
own that. Like, this is amazing what you are doing.
Thank you. I
So,
really appreciate that.
oh my gosh.
And
So
speaking of fundraising,
yes,
may I
so
make that bridge now?
you have a
Speaking of
project that
fundraising,
you,
yes, please
yeah.
tell us about your latest project.
Before you do,
Okay,
Yep.
sorry.
hold on. So before you do, so your girls,
Yes.
your students need cameras in order
Correct.
to fully
Do
learn
the
on
training.
theory,
Exactly. Yeah.
right?
We give a camera to keep and a 4-phase training program. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So
And so what we do, just so I can continue that thread, is that we ask people, hey, do you want to save the environment? Send us your used or new camera equipment that you're not using, that's either cluttering up your cupboard, or you're thinking, where do I put all this equipment? We take any kind of, we take computers, we take old phones, we take camera, anything. Because what we do is sell it here with a resort, like a support system we have here. And then we purchase the cameras that we use for the training. So it's all equal. Every girl gets the same camera. But that helps us keep things out of the landfill,
yes.
but also fund those cameras that we have to purchase, which really went up after COVID. Like,
Yes.
it's crazy, right? It's just crazy. But yeah, so each girl gets a camera to keep, because that's a barrier to access for a job.
Of course.
And so when we take that barrier away, those media houses can no longer say or have a reason to keep a woman out of the workplace.
Right.
Because it's male dominated, right? So now they have no argument to say, well, you can't get the job. Now she can be a freelancer. She doesn't have
Very
to
cool.
rely on a media house.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Beautiful. So on the subject of funding and gaining revenue to buy cameras, you came up with this beautiful project. Tell us about this project and fundraiser that you've got on the go.
Yeah, so we've been working really hard, and we launched on March 13th. Actually, it's coming to an end on April 22nd. It's a photo contest open to anybody who likes photography. You can enter through phone photography. You can enter with camera, beginner, advanced, pro. It's $25 to enter and $1 for each vote that you render. And it's a peer-to-peer, one photo in 6 different categories.
Okay.
And then you can render votes as many as you want. It's $1 per vote. And there's a peer-to-peer voting period for a week, and then it goes to professional judges to finalize. And the prizes range from up to $4,500, sponsored by Canon in Canada, and F-Stop Gear, which is a camera bag out of the US. And I have to give them a shout out, because they've been incredible to support us. And the money that we're raising is going to help us not only expand in Africa, but but we're really trying to get our first workshop in Tanzania off the ground in November.
Wow.
So,
Awesome.
it's 30,000 is our goal. We are very short of our goal, but I'm not giving up. I just gotta. This is the industry, like economy is tough. Everybody's having a tough time, right? So I appreciate what everybody is able to do, but even even a little bit helps.
Absolutely. And I do want our viewers to know the prizes are generous.
Yeah,
So if
they're
you have
very
any
generous.
interest in, of course, your $25 goes to an awesome cause, regardless if you win. But the prizes are very generous, and
Yes.
I would say there's not a ton of entries yet. I mean, you certainly have a good amount of entries.
Oh yeah,
but
but
their odds
there's
are
so
good.
many the odds are amazing. Yeah.
The odds are really good. So
yeah, exactly. So
I just want everybody listening to, and we'll make sure that they have links and whatnot.
yes, that would be great.
You to just share this wildly, everyone.
Yes.
If you are a budding photographer and you're connected with any different Facebook groups or photography groups, please share this in those groups within your circles, photographers or not. This is open to anybody of any skill level, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? Maybe people say to me, but I'm not a photographer. I'm like, okay, well, there's other ways to support us. You can go to our Canada Helps link, or you can run a fundraiser of your own for us. You can donate your cameras. There's so many ways to get involved.
And you can just donate as well.
Yeah,
you do not
absolutely.
Have to
you don't have to.
You can absolutely just donate.
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of people have been doing that because they're like, I don't know what to send in. I'm like, okay. And they said, can I just send you money? I'm like, absolutely.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah. Twist my arm. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So Canada Helps is the best portal for that.
Yeah, Canada Helps, or that we've got a PayPal giving fund for people in the US if they're watching as well, because sometimes they have a hard time on the Canada Helps. Yeah. But Canada Helps is a good platform, safe platform for people to donate through. So
I'll ask you to send me those two links. Amina.
Absolutely,
send me your Canada
I will.
Helps and your US PayPal link as well. And
Thank
we'll make
you.
sure to get that added to the follow-up notes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Amina, thank you so much for being with us. So Amina Mohamed with Camera for Girls joined us today. Thank you so much for being with us and sharing your beautiful gifts and your gift to the world and your fundraiser.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, ladies. I really appreciate this.
You are such an inspiration, and I learn more every time I get the privilege of hearing your story.
And one day we're going to talk about TikTok. I set it up. I got as far as setting it up. Now I just got to figure out how to put things on it.
Yes, indeed. Well, you private message me.
I will. Okay.
Such a pleasure to spend time with you. Thank you so much.
Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
You have a lovely evening as well. Bye-bye. And this has been the Wonderful Women Business Networking Show.
Oh, Julie, we lost your audio.
Oh. Testing 1 2.
Yeah, you're back.
Testing 1 2. Okay, very good. I just switched to put our banner on. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, very good. We meet on the 2nd and 4th Thursday every month from 4:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time, and we're always looking for guests. So if you would love to be on the show in future to tell us about your products, services, projects, and passions, we would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye everyone.